Good morning, class 9th students. Today I am going to start Act 2, Scene 2. Before I continue the textual explanation, let me give you a brief description of the scene. In this scene, Shakespeare introduces witty and humorous characters because the Elizabethan audience loved to listen to humorous and witty remarks and droll speeches on the stage. The scene introduces us to the jester of the play Launcelot. This scene is divided into three sections. The first section is dominated by the antics of Lancelot Gobbo, who is Shylock's servant. In the beginning, he is found debating with his conscience whether he should leave Shylock's household and take up service with Bassanio. Ultimately, he decides to leave the Jews' service, exhibiting his racial prejudice and his false expectations of Bassanio's wealth. He teases his poor father, taking advantage of his blindness, and urges him to plead to Bassanio to employ him. In the second section, Lancelot meets Bassanio and enters his service. In the third section, Grushanio requests Bassanio to let him accompany him to Belmont. It is also a forerunner to the Lorenzo Jessica elopement. Lancelot serves as a link between Lorenzo and Jessica. Now we are in a street of Venice. Enter Lancelot. Lancelot's dialogue. Certainly my conscience will serve me to run from this Jew my master. The fiend is at mine elbow and tempts me, saying to me, Gobbo, Lancelot Gobbo, good Lancelot, or good Gobbo, or good Lancelot Gobbo. Use your legs, take the start, run away. My conscience says, no, take heed, honest Lancelot, take heed, honest Gobbo, or as aforesaid, honest Lancelot Gobbo, do not run, scorn running with thy heels. The dialogue of Lancelot is very lengthy. I will read it in parts and will explain it in parts. See, in simple words, we can say conscience means moral sense, which tells us about what is morally good and bad. And fiend means the devil. And these two things always reside in us. We often find ourselves struggling with these two innerly. Now, Lancelot Gobbo is Shylock's servant. An inner struggle is going on in his mind between his conscience advising him to be a faithful servant and the devil tempting him to leave Shylock's service. In this dialogue, we find Lancelot is debating with himself as to whether or not he should remain in Shylock's service. He says that his conscience will allow him to run away from this Jew, his master. The devil stands close to him and tempts him, saying, Gobbo, Lancelot Gobbo, good Lancelot, or good Gobbo, or good Lancelot Gobbo, use your legs, start immediately and run away. To this, his conscience replies, no, take care, honest Lancelot, take care, honest Gobbo, as told before, honest Lancelot Gobbo, do not run. Be utterly contemptuous of running. Well, the most courageous fiend bids me back. Via, says the fiend. Away, says the fiend. For the heavens rouse up a brave mind, says the fiend, and run. Well, my conscience, hanging about the neck of my heart, says very wisely to me, my honest friend Launcelot, being an honest man's son, or rather an honest woman's son, well, my conscience says, Launcelot, budge not. Budge, says the fiend. Budge not, says my conscience. Conscience, say I, you counsel well. Fiend, say I, you counsel well. To be ruled by my conscience, I should stay with the Jew, my master, who, God bless the mark, is a kind of devil, and to run away from the Jew, I should be ruled by the fiend, who, saving your reverence, is the devil himself. Lancelot continues debating with himself and says that the bold devil persuades him to pack up and run. Away, says the devil, for heaven's sake, build up the courage and run away. His conscience, pleading with his heart, says wisely to him, being an honest friend and son of an honest man and an honest woman, his conscience says, Lancelot, do not move. But devil says him to move, and his conscience replies, do not move. Then he tells to his conscience, you advise me well, and again he tells to devil, devil, you advise me well. Then he says that if he is ruled by his conscience, he must stay with his master, the Jew, who is a kind of devil. To run away from the Jew, he must be guided by this devil, who is the devil himself. Overall, we can say here Lancelot is confused. He is debating with himself what to do, whether to listen devil or to his conscience. Conscience advises him to stay here in the service of Shylock, and devil asks him to leave from here. Certainly, the Jew is the very devil incarnation, and in my conscience is but a kind of hard conscience to offer to counsel me to stay with the Jew. The fiend gives the more friendly counsel. I will run, fiend. My heels are at your commandment. I will run. Lancelot says that the Jew is the devil in human form, and his conscience, which is a strict conscience, tells him to stay with the Jew. The devil gives him more friendly advice, so he thinks like that. He will run away. Later he decides to run away. So he says he will run away from here, as his legs are at devil's command, so he will run away. In this dialogue, Lancelot has used personification literary device when he says, well, my conscience hanging about the neck of my heart. It means that conscience as a symbol of affection shown hanging around his neck, like a wife with her arms around his neck. Now enter old Gobbo. with a basket. Who is Old Gobbo? Old Gobbo is Lancelot's father. He is a blind man. As Lancelot has amusing nature, he tries to tease his blind father. Lancelot confuses him, that is his father, by giving wrong directions to Shylock's house. Then he gives him a fright by telling him that his son is dead. Overall, later we laugh a lot when Lancelot plays tricks with his father. We also find the remarks that Lancelot makes are full of nonsense, and his humor consists in the wrong use of words. It is called low comedy, but the Elizabethans were fond of it. Lancelot is not a well-drawn comic character of Shakespeare. Let me read the dialogue of Gobbo, that is Old Gobbo. Master, young man, you, I pray you, which is the way to Master Zeus? So this is a very simple dialogue. You can easily understand this. Now the next one is Lancelot's dialogue. Aside. O heavens, this is my true begotten father, who being more than sand blind, high gravel blind, knows me not. I will try confusions with him. Let me remind you what is aside in a play. An aside is a dramatic device in which a character speaks to the audience. This is used to gossip about other characters without their awareness. To give audiences better understanding of matter as well as make them laugh. Here, Lancelot plans to play a trick. He says that this man is his father who begot him. Since he is more than half blind, almost completely blind, old Gobbo does not even recognize him. So he will try to confuse him, that is his father. Next dialogue is of Gobbo. Master, young gentleman, I pray you, which is the way to Master Zeus? Again, Gobbo requests Lancelot to show him the way of Shylock's house. So here, the name of Shylock has not been used. So this tells us that how well known Shylock was in Venice. Let's see how does Lancelot responds. Lancelot's dialogue. Turn up on your right hand at the next turning, but at the next turning of all, on your left, marry. At the very next turning, turn off no hand, but turn down indirectly to the Jew's house. See here how confusing answer Lancelot gives to a blind man. Now, Gobbo's dialogue. By God's Saunties, this will be a hard way to hit. Can you tell me whether one Lancelot that dwell with him or no? Here, Gobbo gets confused and tells that this will be a difficult path to take. Could he please tell him whether certain Lancelot who lives with the Jew lives with him or not? I think this much is enough for today. I will continue the lesson in next video lesson. Till then, take care and have a nice time.